Dionisio at the plate. He's 0 for 2 today. Swakowski, the big right-hander, lets it go. It's right down Broadway. Dionisio lets it fly, and it's raining now.
It's time for Rain Delay Theater with Jeremy Dionisio and Jack Swakowski.
Hello and welcome to another episode of Rain Delay Theater, the podcast where two bums talk about other bums at baseball games. I'm Jack Swakowski.
And I'm Jeremy Dionisio.
Today we will be recapping the Cubs versus Astros game from Wrigley Field. Took place on Friday, May 22nd of 2026, another Friday special. Jeremy, this one was special because it was the first time we've seen the Astros since, I believe, the first episode ever of the podcast. Is that right?
Yeah, that's correct, and it does feel improbable that we could go that long. I know for the longest time, for a long time we hadn't seen Soto or Acuna, and then I think the Rangers were the last MLB team that we needed to see. But yeah,
was that the Braves? Well,
that was the
Braves?
Yeah, the Braves. That's right, the Braves. And the Rangers might have been one of the last ones.
They were.
Too. But yeah, the Braves, of course. But it's crazy. I had like kind of been. I had noticed that like a year or two ago, and it just didn't really. There was never really an opportunity to knock that off, but here we are.
So awesome. So much has happened in the world of the podcast and in the world in general since the last time we saw the Astros. This was game, not to rub it in, Jeremy, I think this was game 6 of the Cubs' losing streak. They would go on to lose this one. Spencer Arrighetti pitched for the Astros. It was a good game to see. But there was also a lot of action that happened at the ballpark itself. This is a pretty Dennis-heavy episode for you listeners. And I'll say this, Jeremy. So I think we both watched The Bear. Like one big complaint about The Bear is that the Fack brothers started being in the show too much, and I think might have been season 4. It's like they introduced John Cena as a cameo, as like another one of the Facks, and they became like big characters, and everybody's like, oh my God, it's too many Facks. I don't want to say that Dennis is becoming one of the Facks. Jeremy, I think if we were writers, like if this was a written show, we would gladly write Dennis out for a couple of episodes just so we wouldn't have to deal with him when we were trying to get autographs. But we can't do that because we're just trying to report what happened. So Dennis is, especially now that he's retired, he is just inevitable at these games. Yeah. And so he was there. And so when I approached Wrigley, it was typical right field entrance. You two were the first ones in line. And so this time I wasn't shy about trying to cut. Maybe it's good that I was a little bit more discreet and I didn't make Dennis yell for me because it seems like some people are kind of pissed off at you because you cut in line too.
I mean, yeah, like not cut, but still like
sure.
I guess and I don't even know how to describe it. So basically, in the corner there, entrance in the right field entrance. I mean, in any of the entrances, there are like they have the gates, and then they have like a ticket scanner, and they have for each opening, the opening of the gates. There's like maybe like I don't know, 8 openings in the gates basically, or like, let's say there's 4 doors to go through. Each opening, each door has 2 scanners. So basically, you can line up on. There's 2 lines per door. So let's say there's 8 lines. But what happens is they never, like, for every time I've gone, like, maybe once or twice, does someone actually come out and say, like, all right, everyone, there's 2 lines, like, form 2 lines, bring it in, like, bring it close. Like, they just don't do that. And I know that they're going to do that. And so, like, I've been stuck behind, like, a long line that is, like, twice the length because it doesn't have to be, because they don't tell people to just, fill in both lines. So I get there. And I'm behind this like family of Dodgers fans, I guess. Like they were all wearing Dodgers gear. Keep in mind, just in case you forgot from 2 minutes ago, it's Cubs versus Astros. No Dodgers in sight. And so they're just in line, and it was like a mom and dad and like 2 kids. And I just like I see Dennis, and then so like I for a second I stood there and I'm like, why would I stand here and not talk to Dennis, not being first in line when these people like don't know what's happening. So I just kind of went by them. I said, "Excuse me." I went up to the worker who was behind the fence because they stand there like just ready to open the gates. And I said, like, "There's gonna be 2 lines, right?" And at first the girl was like, "Huh, what?" And I'm like, "There's going to be 2 lines, right?" And she's like, "Oh yeah, yeah." And so then I turn around and that I can tell like the mom is like looking at me, and I said, I'm like, "Do you want to go ahead of me?" And she's like, well, this is our spot. And I'm like, "Yeah, but there's 2 lines." And she's like, "Well, yeah, but we're here." And I'm like, no, there's 2 lines, that one and this one. And she was like, "Oh." And then she like puts her hand out like, "Go ahead, take it." She's like, go ahead, go. And I'm like, "Okay, great." And then I just talked to Dennis. It's like I could tell that they were like pissed off, but it's like I didn't just blatantly cut you. Like I'm trying to like make it more efficient, and it's like, go ahead. If you go ahead in that line, so then you're first, and then I'll go behind Dennis. You know, like it doesn't like it's an easy fix. And I felt like this lady was like, it almost seemed like she wanted to like yell at me, and then when she realized what was going on, she had to back off. But it was an unnecessary little bit of drama.
Yeah, that's weird. I just didn't make eye contact with anybody behind me after I just came in line with you guys. So she was probably glaring at me too, for all I know. But maybe you smoothed it over a little bit.
I did feel like because I feel like it was maybe like 30 seconds after that happened. That you rolled in, and I was like, ew. But like again, fun. But whatever. It's just dumb. But like it is. I will say this too. I forgot to say this. Like when I said to the worker, like, there are gonna be 2 lines. Dennis goes like, "Yeah, but not for this guy. Not for him. No, he's got to go all the way to the end of the line." And like I could already tell that this woman was mad. So I'm like, "Dennis, come on, man. Don't like add fuel to the fire." And it was ironic because I was playing the role of Dennis at the Brewers game last episode, and then he was back in the show for this Friday special.
Yeah, man. So yeah, he was. It was the 3 of us for just a minute, and then like right after I showed up, there was a quick cameo from Anthony, who I don't think we've seen very much this year. Might have been the first time I've seen him at Wrigley Field.
Yeah.
And so he was like, we all, were like, "Oh, like, yeah, how's it going?" and stuff. And Anthony and Dennis were like just talking and being crazy with each other. Anthony, like, at one point, like, he put his arm around me and he's like, "Hey, you want some water, man? Before you want a water before you go in the stadium?" And I was like, "Oh no, I don't think so." And he's like, "You sure you guys don't want some water?" And like later on, I said to you, I was like, "Yeah, I guess he was offering us free water." And you were like, "I don't think those waters are free, man." Like, I think he was trying to sell us waters from like him and his buddy like had a cooler and they were selling waters. I think that was the idea, right? Like he was trying to sell us waters.
I mean, he was definitely selling waters to everyone. Like you would from his approach, it seemed like he's like, "Do you want a free water?" But and peanuts too. He said, "You want some water, some peanuts?"
Yep.
And because so he did the same thing to me when I went to a solo game. I was actually late, and I was like running. I was kind of like just darting from the train to the entrance, and he was saying like, brother, and like he kept calling that, and I finally stopped, and I realized he was talking to me, and then he said, "You want a water?" And I'm like, no, I'm okay. And like, yeah, part of me just feels like I don't know if that water would have been free, or he would have handed it to you and be like, "Okay, $2 or something," But yeah.
Yeah, man. And so Dennis and Anthony, they started talking about PCA because I think Anthony said that PCA signed his cousin's like $300 jersey wrong. Was that? Did I interpret that story right?
Yeah, that's correct. Yeah, he's like, PCA doesn't sign for adults anymore, and then he's like, he's like, my brother got this jersey or cousin, whatever, and he's like, I put it out there, and he fucked it up or something. He's like, he didn't even sign on the number, he signed on the fabric, which is usually not how it's done.
No. And then so Dennis started going, "Oh yeah, I don't fuck with him no more. Nope." And then Dennis says to Anthony, "Hey, but we already wore him out, baby." And it's like, yeah, thanks a lot, Dennis. Now he won't sign for anybody else. So
Yeah,
I have
exactly.
no doubt that Dennis and Anthony did wear him out. But I still haven't gotten him.
Yeah, no, yeah, for sure. I at this point, it does not seem like I will get him as a major leaguer unless we pay for it.
Right.
So yeah, it was also funny too. I would say like because Anthony at first just kind of came up to Dennis and was talking to him, and like he didn't see us, and so I go like,
No.
"Hey, what's up, What's up, Anthony? You don't say hi to me no more?" And then like he's like, "Oh, hey man," and like he started like dabbing us up and stuff. But yeah, it was. I'm glad you saw that, Jack, because I've been privy to so many like random Anthony like whirlwinds. Like he
Sure.
comes in like the Tasmanian devil, and it's just like craziness. And like yeah, your head is spinning so much that you almost do say yes to the water. And yeah, it was it was just funny to see that. And like he's always BSing, and it is funny. I forgot what they were saying, but they were saying something that was like we were cracking up and we were just laughing like blatantly, and like I know that he knows that he's being funny, but like I was like, are we laughing too much at this situation? Because like we were laughing as if like I was recounting this, or like you were recounting the story to me, but it was happening live in front of us, and we were kind of like laughing at them a little bit.
Yeah, he's just a crazy guy, man. That's kind of just
Yeah.
the character he plays around the neighborhood. Yeah. Do you have any idea what he actually does?
No clue. I feel like I've heard him refer to work before, but
Okay.
I have never heard of what he does, and yeah, no clue.
Yeah, interesting. Well, anyway, like you said, it was a whirlwind. He came and he was gone in I don't even know if it was 2 minutes. So it's just you, me, and Dennis again. We got a couple minutes before the gates start open, and Dennis just goes into his he just gets into a black mood where he's convinced nobody's gonna sign. He's like, yeah, these major leaguers, they don't sign no more. I'm gonna stop doing it. I'm just for a whole year. I'm gonna go down I'm gonna go. He saw I had a Beloit hat on. He's like, yeah, I've been to the old one, but I'm gonna just start going up there for a whole year. I'm not even gonna do it. These major leaguers don't sign no more. And it's just like, yeah, that'll be the fucking day, Dennis, where you're not at a major league stadium 4 days a week. So yeah, he was just being super negative. He was saying how the Astros didn't sign at the hotel, etc. It was just your usual Dennis stuff.
Totally, yeah. It was and it was getting tiresome. Like, I mean, like, I'm trying to think of like the specifics of what he was saying, but like a guy's name would come up. He's like, oh yeah, he don't sign no more, or like, yeah, this guy didn't sign no more, and like this guy ignored me. He's like, the kids get him, but I'm not gonna get him, and like whatever. And it's just like, again, it's like this is the last guy to be crying about autographs because he does he does the best out of any adult there.
Yes.
So it was a lot, and it continued into the park, and yeah, we're just standing there. I guess the first thing that happened is we kind of walked in. There was no one in the outfield shagging balls or doing anything, which is pretty annoying. So we headed to the infield because who was it, Jack? It was Dave Clark, a bunch of
Zach
outfielders.
DeCenzo's,
Yeah.
DeCenzo, Cole, Myers was there, and then like one of the other coaches.
That Jason
and might have been
Bell
like
guy.
that Jason Bell guy. Yeah, so they were all in a circle, and one of the women athletic trainers was there too, and it was like just like the 5 or 6 of them talking. Eventually, they went out to the outfield, and Jason Bell, the coach, was doing this weird thing where like he was standing probably like 60 feet behind second base, and he was like hitting fly balls to these guys like against the wall, and they were trying to make plays against the wall. I think we obviously surmised that they were trying to get used to playing the outfield at Wrigley, getting used to the ivy, etc. So we got to see this this warm up. But as I think you were alluding to, we went over to that area because they were right by first base sort of to start with, and we went over there. We sold out for that spot because we thought maybe we could call a few guys over before they did what they were going to do.
Yeah, and the spot was next to like the cherry spot, like the main spot that you want to
Yep.
be in. But and by the time like they moved to the outfield, the good spot had kind of already been crowded up. So it was rough. One more thing about the Jason Bell drill that they were doing was weird is that like he was hitting basically like with a fungo bat, these little poppers to center field, but he like kept hitting home runs. He kept hitting it over the wall. And like, I think like the point, I mean, I feel like the point of it was to hit it just short of the wall so the guys could like try to catch it like right up against the ivy. And he kept hitting it in the basket or in the seats. And I'm like, dude, are you just trying to like show off or something? Like, it seemed like a very like poorly thought out drill that ended up probably costing like the Astros like a bunch of baseballs. So yeah, that was weird. So yeah, so then like we were just standing there and he's just complaining like he said that Dave Clark is an asshole or something, and
he won't sign Tigers cards.
Yeah, he said that. And then like these guys were like, then he was calling for some guys and they were like clearly in the middle of drills and he's like, this guy's an asshole, he won't sign. And
Braden
like,
Shoemake.
Yeah, right. And he was taking infield and like he was at second base like in the fielding position and he's like calling for him. It's like, this guy's an asshole. He doesn't sign anymore. And it's like, dude, now is not the time to be calling for him and to be making like blanket judgments about his signing habits. Now, he may be a bad signer, but that's not the situation where you make that call. So it was just weird and it was nonstop and it just it was just annoying. So yeah, I think those guys headed out to the outfield and we were still kind of standing there. We kind of felt like that was the only place to be at that point. So we were just BSing and I'm trying to think of how this conversation started. Jack, do you remember?
No, but we can say that Dennis, as usual, was wearing an Astros hat and an Astros hoodie. And so for a guy who, 15 minutes ago was complaining, another thing he was complaining about was how expensive everything was in Wrigley Field. Yeah, I go in there and I try not to spend money. So for a guy who was complaining about how expensive it is to go to a baseball game, he seems like he's spending like $100 on every team to buy their gear, at least, because hats are expensive. So he had a nice fitted Astros hat. And a fitted hat is like $45-$50 if you get a nice one, which he had. And then a hoodie is, this MLB branded stuff is so expensive that I can only imagine that hoodie was probably at least $80, but probably over $100. It's like he's spending that on every single team. Yeah.
And like he said this before, but he's like, yeah, you got to wear the gear. He's like, I think it helps. I really do. And so then he's kind of going on about that, and he's like, yeah. So I think it actually helps. And he's like, and sometimes I'm sitting in the state. Oh, and he's like, I get harassed for wearing it too. And he's like, I walk around the stadium and people start like cussing me out, and I say, am I bothering you? And then he goes like, well, because you're not bothering me. And he's like, well, actually, you are bothering me. And, it was just like a whole like role play like that he had about like the times he's been harassed for wearing gear. It was quite comical.
No, yeah, he did both parts, right? Like he did the part of the person who was harassing him, and then he did himself as well. So yeah, it was crazy. As a guy who just wore a Brewers hat to a game, I have not experienced that myself. So nor have I really seen it much in the last 10 years that it's happened. So I guess if it happens to him, it happens. I don't know. What I will say is that I don't know that and we might have just talked about this last week, but I don't know that it, makes a difference actually if you wear the team's hat or not. I mean, maybe incrementally, like maybe not incrementally, but maybe an insignificant difference, right? Maybe every once in a while. Like we suspected maybe that first time Churio signed for me, it might have been because I had a Brewers hat, but it also might have just been a fluke. It might have been dumb luck. I know you try to wear the hat sometimes, but it's really just something you do as opposed to something that makes a difference.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's like, I don't know if that's technically confirmation bias, but like, I think if you go down to the Astros bus and you're wearing Cubs gear, they might not. I've heard a couple of times, like, I think, I remember like Lars Nootbaar signed a guy's Cubs hat, and he's like, well, you're giving me a Cubs hat to sign? Like,
right.
But I think he still signed it. And then like, I do think I remember heard a player say once, like, he's like, you're wearing the wrong jersey or the wrong hat or something. Mm-hmm. Like, I think that might influence something more, but like just wearing something neutral, which is normally what I wear, like it's just I don't see how it. I don't think it matters.
No, and for a guy like Dennis, who one time another, I think it was a kid, was at the bus saying like, "Oh yeah, he had a bad game today," and Dennis immediately turned to him and went, "That don't matter." So it's like a guy who knows that like the type of game a guy had doesn't matter should also know that the gear you're wearing does not matter either.
Yeah, it's just Dennis logic. So
yes,
take that for what you will. So there were a couple times where some guys did come over during BP, and they would go over to like the main spot and go sign there. And so when you're graphing over there, they tell you, I don't know, this is a weird rule, but like you can't stand in the first row. You can stand in the second row. I guess maybe it's because if a ball screams off the net, it could hit you or something.
I think that's what it is. Yeah.
Yeah, and so if you call a guy over, you can go up the first row, but usually they want you to stand in the second row. So we were in the second row, but over a section, and then when these guys would come to sign, Dennis would just dart down that first row and just kind of camp out right by the like crook of the opening in the net. And so there was a bunch of times where players came over. The first guy was Zach DeZenzo. Then Cam Smith did it. And then Bryce Matthews did it. And because Dennis boxed us out. And then he would squat by the opening and basically box us out, just like he does at Sox Park. So, so neither of us got DeZenzo. I was pretty close, and it was another one of those things. Like it was actually like a carryover from, the last couple of graphing sessions, which were pretty annoying. Just like I was right there, and it seemed like I was gonna get him, and then I ended up not getting him. DeZenzo, so he stopped and he signed for a kid, and then I guess we didn't really have this on the notes, but he signed for a kid, and then there's a security guard on the field, and he kind of comes over there to get his back or something, and then he says to basically us, like the adults, which is basically us, he's like, hey, hang back, let the kid get in there, and we're like, yeah, we are, and then they're like, can we take a picture, and then he's like, yeah, and so then the kid turns around and then to take the picture, and then the security guard goes like, all right guys, can you guys stand back so you're not in his picture? Can you stand back so that they can get their picture? And it's like, all right, that's too much, man. It's like, we're letting, and we're not even blocking the picture. He like wanted us to step back so like there was like extra room around the picture, and it's like that's too much, man. That now you're doing too much.
Yeah, and the real kicker was the kid had already gotten an autograph.
Yeah,
like he got an autograph, and then he got a picture. And we should say Dennis had already gotten to Senzo at this point, so it was me and you who were trying to get him. And so, the kid gets his autograph. He actually got 2 autographs, because I think he got one for him, and he got one for his brother as well, because I think the kid had so the kid kept, every time if someone would sign, that kid would get at least 2 autographs. So, he gets 2 autographs, and then he gets a picture with DeCenzo. And the bad thing about that was, because the security guard made everybody go back, and then a picture was happening, it gave DeCenzo a chance to break off, and then that was it after the picture. Because, his momentum stopped. Sometimes when a guy is signing, he'll just keep signing because he's got the momentum going. That picture just, it broke up everything. It broke the seal. So, it was it after that. So that was really annoying.
Yeah, super annoying. So we miss out on him. Then Cam Smith comes over, who was also in that group with those other outfielders. Yep. He comes over, and he says like sign for the kid or something. And like the same kid, he's standing in the first row, and his friggin' dad, he like is going to hand him a card, and he has a Cam Smith card, and it's in a penny sleeve. And man, I don't want to. I know we like kind of can be rough on parents sometimes, and like I know parents are just trying to do their best and everything. This guy, and then I think this delves into like manhood territory or something, but I'm like, this guy was trying to like, he's like, oh, and he's like, dad, come on, the card. And the dad's right behind me. Dennis is in front of me. Dad's right behind me, and he's futzing with this fucking penny sleeve, and he could not get the card out of it. Now, I feel like if you ever, were involved in cards, you've dealt with penny sleeves, just like the soft plastic sleeve. this is a regular card. This was not like sometimes if you were trying to put a thick card in a regular penny sleeve, they have thick penny sleeves, but a regular penny sleeve is built like beautifully for a baseball card. There's sometimes it's hard to maybe get it in there if the penny sleeve isn't like sitting flat and straight, but getting it out is like I couldn't even create difficulty getting a card out of a penny sleeve. I don't know how you do it. And this guy was like futzing around with it for like 25 seconds, I think. Like no joke. And I was just turned around and I was watching this idiot like futzing around with this penny sleeve. And then like I'm just like I felt like my mouth was like dropped open. Like what the frick am I looking at here? Yeah. And then in the meantime, and I give Dennis, this is maybe where Dennis has like some like years on us or something. Dennis just slides his card through the net. And Cam Smith like sees it, and we're all standing there watching this dad try to do this. Me, you, the kid, Dennis, Cam Smith. We're all watching this idiot fumble with this penny sleeve, and then at some point Dennis just turns and puts his card through the net, and Cam Smith signs it, and both of them were just like, "This is ridiculous." Here, and Smith was like, "Yeah, let me just sign that really quick," and then finally the guy gets the card, and the kid gets it through and gets him to sign it. And then, of course, after that ends, he runs off, and we do not get him.
Nope. No, that was crazy. And Dennis, too, like getting that card through that the net, that was a high wire act in itself. I'm not really sure how he did it. He had to, like, separate, like, the like, one square. Like, he had to take his fingers and, like, make it as wide as he possibly could and then get the card through. And he had a hard time getting it back out or getting it back into himself as well. Like it was just kind of ridiculous. Like this just, this grown like old man, like just doing this like desperate thing to get this card back. But hey, I'll give him credit. He did what he had to do to get the autograph. So yeah, that was just another one that we got skunked on. And then, like you said, Bryce Matthews came over. We didn't get him either. And then, through all of this, like kind of in the middle of this, Dennis was telling us not to call Dave Clark. He's like, oh, yeah, don't call Dave Clark. You can get him anytime. Don't call him. You'll fuck it up for everybody. And it's just like, come on, man. We need Dave Clark. Don't tell us who to call.
Yeah, and he's also more likely to sign. And I guess what he probably should have said is, you'll fuck it up for me.
Yes.
For me to get Cam Smith and you guys to not get him. So, like, yeah, it's kind of annoying. It's like, it kind of sucks. Like, I feel like obviously everyone there wants to, like, get the autograph. And, like, it's probably rare that someone will be like, hey, you go ahead and get him before me or something. Right. But like Dennis is just like, he's never going to do anything like that. Like he would never be magnanimous like that. Like, he would not be like, hey, I've gotten Cam Smith 5 times already. Why don't you go get him this time? Right. Or like, I'll get him for you or whatever. Like he would never do that. And like, it's annoying because it's like, I'm not trying to get my fucking 5th Cam Smith card. I'm trying to get my first and maybe only one done. And it just sucks that like there's no like wherewithal of like let's spread it out a little bit. So it's annoying.
No, and I mean even if Dennis had gotten Cam Smith 5 times, he still would have boxed us out for a 6th time. So yeah, you're right. That's the way it goes. One other guy we called that didn't come over was Tony Perez-Chica. So we should ultimately say, I guess there's a little bit more here with pregame, but we got skunked. It was a really frustrating pregame. This was just a little bit after we had gotten, or Dennis had gotten one of the players. I think maybe it was after Cam Smith signed, and we had not quite gone back to our spot, which was not the sweet spot, but the other spot that we were kind of stuck with. So we were kind of just hanging in the middle. And then all of a sudden, this guy with his camera appeared, and it was a nicer camera. And he was taking pictures. He was down the line a little bit, but he looked like he was trying to take pictures of batting practice in the home plate area.
He was also taking video though too, and like he was it was peculiar like what he was doing. He was like videotaping, like the seats, and like it wasn't just the field and BP. Like he was videotaping the seats as well, and like he was getting these like weird like low angles like on the chairs and stuff, and it was weird. And like I think Dennis was in the middle of telling us something, and he goes like, this guy's over here taking pictures. And so we look over at this guy doing this, and I'm like, oh yeah, that is kind of weird. And then I feel like I think he stopped talking right then, And I kind of just was maybe zoning out looking at the field. But I look back over at Dennis, and he's got his binder like half covering his face.
Yeah, it was ridiculous, man. So yeah, he put his binder over his face, so all you could see were his eyes. He looked like a bandit.
Like the shadow.
It was crazy, and it's like, Dennis, what are you doing, man? Like, okay, like you don't want to be in this guy's picture, but if anybody saw this and they saw you and they recognized you, every single person who knows you in the world knows that you're here right now. Like it's not like that. It's not like that couple getting caught at that Coldplay concert. It's like no one is going to be surprised that you are here right now. Like, what are you hiding from? Like, it's just, it's too much, man. So there was no, Dennis covered his face to not be in this guy's picture. Even though the one picture we have of Dennis is of him, like, leaning over to get an autograph, and like it was a picture clearly taken by a guy like this. So it was just too much.
It's too perfect. That was that was confusing for sure. This must have been like short. It was maybe right after the photo thing or something, but or maybe this is just whatever. It's just after the Cam Smith thing. But I was talking to you about it, and I'm like, I said like, did you see that bullshit with the Cam Smith card? And you hadn't, and you're like, no, I didn't see it. And I'm like, dude, like that. Yeah, I recounted the whole thing about the dad trying to get the card out of the penny sleeve, and I'm like, it was fucking pathetic. I remember saying, I'm like, how do you not know how to take a card out of a penny sleeve? And I was like, I was ranting and swearing, and Dennis like was standing there, and he just looks and he's like, you're getting frustrated just like me.
Yep. And he said it like a proud father.
Yeah. Or like a devil who like tempted someone, and then like the person gave in and the devil won or something.
Yeah.
It was like, it was just like very sly the way he said it, and I was like, I don't know what I said to him, but yeah, it was funny.
No, and it's like, hey Dennis, you didn't help, man. Like you didn't exactly help our frustration by boxing us out. So yeah, that was funny. And then shortly after that, I think Matthews was the last guy that signed, and then they all went in. Paris Chica said no twice. Dave Clark, we called Dave Clark because he did drift in. He kind of took the long way into the dugout, so he didn't really cross our paths, and we didn't get him. So we got totally skunked pregame, which is the first time that's happened in a long time.
Yeah, it was not a good feeling.
No.
Yeah, I guess like we were coming off of success with the Brewers pregame, but other than that, like just the denials this year, the denials have been rough this year, I would say. Yeah,
they have. So yeah, we packed it in. Not good. We got food. I got nachos, which was the plan for me all along. Jeremy, you ended up getting nachos too. You got something else first, but then you got the nachos as well, and I think you were pretty happy with that.
Yeah, I got the Italian sausage, and I was
right.
It was a little messy, like I've talked about like when you get the giardiniera and the oil, and like the bun was kind of like funky, so like it was fine, but it was like not a fun experience, and I was almost tempted to get the nachos then, and I saw like the nachos they're not that expensive compared to the other items.
No,
they're a couple bucks cheaper. $10. Yeah. So I was like, I'm like, oh man, let me get the nachos. And so I ran down and I got some, and I was I have to say that there was a little bit of a learning curve for me with the nachos. I think I dropped one like early on, and it like landed on like my crotch basically.
It did, Jeremy. You made a funny comment too. You're like, just that you got cheese on yourself. So yeah, but you were, but it was they're tough, man. Like first of all, they're hard to eat. But also they take a long time to eat as well. I don't think you realize how many are there. So I always have to give myself about 20 minutes. Otherwise, I'm eating them into the first inning and I can't keep score. So, but they're good. I think you were satisfied.
Yeah. It's good. I would, I'll definitely try to get them again before the season is out. So, good stuff there. And I got a good, I think when I came back, you were like, oh, you got a good pour or whatever. I forgot what you said, but, they did them up nice or whatever. So that was good. So yeah, we were sitting in the 300 section, which is like, yeah, I still argue is the best section in the park. There's no obstructions. Almost, I will say this. There was maybe more to this section, but usually best seats in the house. Right. We were in what I called later a jerk off section. Just a bunch of jerk offs. So we were seats 1 and 2, which like for some people are great. I think for a couple of guys like us, the aisle seats are wasted on us because we don't want to get up during the game, and it's inevitable that you get up during the game with the aisle seats. We were in a regular row. There was 20 something seats into the row, and we were sitting down. We're kind of getting settled in. I think I was maybe still eating my nachos at that point, and these people come up, and I kind of even missed it, but they came up to the row behind us, and I think they got your attention or something.
Yeah. And
they were like, and we had the buffer seat, so I was in seat 1, you were in seat 3, and this guy, they kind of I think, I don't know, do you want to say what they did there?
Sure. Well, he was just he got my attention, and it was a guy and a girl, about maybe 30 years old, and the guy says to me, "Oh, hey, I think you're in our seats," and I go, "Oh yeah, sorry, okay." So I moved into my rightful seat, which was seat 2. So like you said, we had seats 1 and 2. And we always do a buffer if we can, just to give ourselves more room to spread out, because when you don't do that, you're really packed in. So yeah, I just said, okay. So I moved to seat 2. And I think he thought that those just weren't our seats altogether. Because I moved, and then the guy and his girlfriend still just stood there expectantly. They were waiting for more to happen. And so there was just this pregnant pause where nobody did anything. And the guy said again, he was like, "Oh, you're in our seats." And I was like, "Well, which seats do you have?" And he's like, "Well, 3 and 4." And I was like, "Yeah, okay, well, we got these 2." And so he just kind of pauses and doesn't do anything for a couple of seconds. And then he walks down and real slowly. So we both stand up for him, but he walks real slowly into his seat with his girlfriend. And then he sits in seat 3 and the girl sits in seat 4. And it's just like, what the fuck is your problem, dude? I think he wanted us to just not be there all together. But but it's like, hey man, I don't know what you want me to tell you. We're seats 1 and 2. You can't bounce us. So it was just annoying. I felt like I wasn't in my seat, even though I was in my seat, or at least that's how that guy wanted me to feel.
Yeah, it was super annoying because we were standing this whole time, and I was like, I think I was eating my nachos because I paused and was kind of waiting to resume eating them, and I was standing there for an extra 15 seconds, 20 seconds while they did whatever the hell they did, and I was like, what's going on over here? What else do they want us to do? It was unclear what would have satisfied them, but they came in and they sat down right next to you, and again, we're 1, 2, they're 3, 4, rest of the aisle completely empty.
Yes.
So you could have left him above, maybe have us take 1 and 2, but then you guys sit in 4 or 5. Why would you want to sit right next to someone else? So it was super annoying. What would end up happening, we just say it, I guess, is I guess that was the first inning, the top of the first maybe when that happened. I think they left. Jack, I don't even know. Maybe they showed up in the top of the first, and then
so
after
Jeremy, they showed up before the game. They showed up a little bit before the game because they were there for the national anthem.
That's
and,
right.
And some of the pregame festivities, and then the game started, and they left in the top of the first inning, halfway through the top of the first inning, they left. I've never seen it before, but we figured, okay, maybe they're maybe they're going to get food, whatever, because they left in the middle of the inning. They didn't even wait. And so it was cold this day. It was maybe 50 degrees. It was 50 degrees. It was annoying because it's late May. But they got up in the middle of the first inning, and then they didn't come back. And then so about the third, fourth inning, you said to me, you're I don't know when we're going to be able to say this, but I don't know if that couple is coming back. And I was like, I was just thinking the same thing. And then when it got to be about the 6th inning, I was like, I think we could safely say they're not coming back. So I don't know what happened, man. Maybe they just went to another seat. Maybe they just decided it was too cold. Because I didn't get the impression that these people had ever been to a baseball game before. So I don't know how they ended up with those tickets, or if it was just something that they decided to do on a whim. But yeah, man, I've never seen somebody stay in their seats for that short of amount of time and not come back.
Yeah, it was it was comical and not comical at the same time. It was just pathetic. And like, yeah, I will say one thing too that happened that was just kind of fun, and it was totally not intended at all. But as they were like, when they got up to leave, I was just like, what the fuck? Like, you're leaving now? And so like I stood up, and I was kind of like as far back as I could go, but I had like I was like doing my lineup card, and I had my pencil in my hand, and I had the tip pointing outwards, and the guy, when he walked by, he was wearing some kind of like corduroy shirt, like kind of like a jacket sort of thing, like a light jacket made of corduroy, and he kind of brushed up against me, and he totally snagged his jacket on my pencil. And I definitely like made a mark on that jacket, if not like ripped some of it, because he dragged me pretty hard, and I legitimately was not trying to do that, but in the end I was not sad that happened either.
Yeah, man, it's sort of like at the White Sox game the other week when I accidentally got blue marker on that dude's jacket. It's like that's our move, man. We're like the wet bandits in Home Alone. We'll get a mark on your jacket. But yeah, that guy deserved it though. So yeah, screw those people. I'm glad they didn't come back, because it was a miserable experience sitting next to them. But yeah, it was a strange one. But yeah, man, this whole section was filled with people who sucked. People who were standing up at inappropriate times and leaving at inappropriate times. The worst offenders, probably just because they were blocking our view, were these people who were like 2 rows in front of us, but the section to the left. Because they were standing up at many points during the game, blocking our view of home plate. Yeah,
and so they, it was like, the main culprits were like these 2 couples, 2 guys and 2 girls. Like, I would say that they were in their 20s, but the main guy, his hair was graying, like he had graying temples. So like, oh, actually no, they said how old he was. So it was this like, man, and like the guy was just dressed like a preppy little punk, and the women who were with him were as well. And I'm just like, they just made you not want to like them at all just by the way they were dressed. And they were just standing up, and there was people next to them that were with them. There was people behind them that were with them. They had like a whole section, and it turns out it was a birthday party. And the main guy, who was the guy who had like the graying temples, and he was like a skinny little wimp, just like a little skinny twerp like guy, and like he had like glasses, like horn rimmed glasses, and like short hair, and I don't know what inning it is, like the 4th or 5th inning, when they show like the greetings, like, hey, welcome IBEW Union 531.
Yeah.
Welcome, Immaculate Heart of Mary grade school, whatever. And it said like happy 30th birthday Juju, and JU, and they showed that, and then everyone in that section cheered, and he put his hands up, and they were all like looking at him. So this little twerp was Juju.
Yeah. I can't believe he was only 30 too. He looked older than 30.
Yeah. So there you go. So like, yeah, he was like skinny and stuff, but like he did have like graying hair. So it was his 30th birthday. And so they're like, oh yeah, happy birthday. Oh, there he is, whatever. And, they were just super annoying. And like at some point, this is before they really started getting on our nerves, but at some point someone hands Juju a friggin' vape pen, and he takes a rip off the vape pen, and then passes it back to someone else, and then they take a rip off of it. And it was like they were annoying us. They were already standing up and stuff, but they hadn't really gone all the way there yet. But they were super annoying, and they were fucking vaping, and they looked more yuppie-ish than like trashy. And it was a bit surprising that like I wouldn't have pegged these guys to be like vapors, but they did. And I almost wanted to say something there because like there was a kid like 2 rows back from them, and it's just like, dude, what are you doing? Like fucking vaping. You shouldn't be doing it at all. But like, you know, now there's a kid here, so now it gives me like leeway to fucking say something to them. Turns out
it wasn't even a kid. It was a little baby. It wasn't even a kid.
Oh.
Like it was like I think the mom had a little baby with her.
Okay, yeah, she had the baby and then like a toddler,
toddler,
or
yeah.
something. Yeah, and so yeah, it was just like it was just super annoying and entitled, and you know, I didn't say anything about the vape pen, but there was a guy. Okay, so next to the 2 women, there was like an older guy and an older woman. I think that he was one of their dads.
Yeah,
but
he must have been.
But the way he was like he stood up at some point and was just like talking to them, and it almost seemed like he was like hitting on one of them, and it was like it was gross, and this guy was just like you just wanted a foul ball to hit, you know, beat him in the head. But he was standing talking to them, and like I was able to like just slightly move over and like have him not in my way, but so I didn't say anything. But then after the 7th inning stretch comes, and they're up there standing and singing and everything, and then like, yeah, you know, 7th inning stretch, you get up, you sing, you stretch, and then you sit your ass back down. These people, yeah, Jack, I think you were saying like, yeah, it's not only 7th inning stretch, it's the bottom of the 7th inning stretch too. And they were standing for like the first couple pitches of the game, and again, this was already after they've been standing and getting up all game. So I finally leaned over and I'm like, hey guys. Hey, I can't see the game. And then they all like look back and they're like, oh, and then they sat down. And you know, there was no like no static there, but it was just like how, again, it never fails, but like how do you not know that there's all these people standing here like looking at you and like trying to look through you? It never, you know, doesn't make sense.
No. Yeah, you're right. There was no static. It wasn't like last year. I think it was just last year. Yeah, with that old guy. When you had the classic line too, Jeremy. You were like, "Excuse me, I'm gonna have to ask you to sit down. I can't see." And then the guy was like, "You can't see?" So like you didn't get that back. But I just like the phrase, "I'm gonna have to ask you to." Yeah, it was awesome, man. But. But yeah, these people suck, dude. There was another thing that I had never seen before, but this was in the middle of the game, like the 4th or 5th inning. This couple came down who had not been there yet at all. They had not established themselves. They had food with them, like they you know,
they had a lot of food with them.
Yeah, they had a lot of food. It was like the girl had a pizza and like something else, and the guy had like a big like Italian sausage or something.
They had nachos too. I think they were like sharing nachos, and they each had their own thing. And it was like crazy. Yeah,
it was. And so they were looking for somewhere to sit, but it was obvious that they just didn't have seats anywhere around the section that we were in, and so they were just looking for like 2 open seats. And again, maybe they just don't go to many Cubs games, but like you can't when it's a crowded game, you can't do that in the 300 level. Like there's going to be no open seats. Even if there are open seats, somebody might be sitting there because maybe they got up to go to the bathroom or something. So whatever, these people are looking for open seats, and eventually they see they zero in on the couple who's sitting in front of us. Now, these people weren't really factors, these 2 people who were sitting in front of us. They were just older people. They had like a blanket with them, and they were eating food at some point, but they were just trying to watch the game. But like they were sitting, so Jeremy, we were in seats 1 and 2. They were in seats 2 and 3 in the aisle, and like seat 1 and seat 4 were both open, right? So like they had a buffer on either side of them. The guy from this couple with all the food, he asks that couple if they can move over to seats 3 and 4 so him and his girl can sit in 1 and 2. And again, they clearly did not have seats in this section, so they just bounced those 2 people from what were presumably their seats. I've never seen that before, man. I mean, you know, you have assigned seats at a baseball game. You can't even ask people to do that at a movie theater anymore. Because movie theater tickets are assigned, you know, like you can't do that. But also these people were standing for so long looking for seats that, again, they were kind of like blocking our view for part of it, but also just distracting us from the game because we knew they were looking for stuff. So, there was a point where we were like, man, we should just offer them our seats just to stop this madness.
I was like, sit on my lap. Like, at least that'll stop this from happening. I was saying that like out loud, like directly behind them. So like,
yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
so you just you can't do that, but they did it.
Jack, to quote the late great Brody Stevens, "You don't do that."
There's a baseball. It's when somebody gets thrown out. Jeremy, I can't remember what clip it is, but I think the ump goes, no, you can't do that. Is it? It's Tom Hallion.
It is. Yeah, it is. Yeah.
Yeah. It's like, that was what I was thinking. But yeah, Brody Stevens, always a good reference too. So yeah, anyway, these people were annoying. Well, again, they didn't stay for that long. They stayed for like 3 innings and then went somewhere else. But it's like, don't do that in the 300 sections. That's what the 400 is for.
Yeah. And then I think just a couple of quick more hits, like just because we've gone on long enough about this. But if you're annoyed, just think about how annoyed we were. There was 2 other like parties that just pulled these fouls on us. There early on, there was an Astros girl and a guy separately who came out of our rows, and we looked back and they were sitting in the row in front of us. So they did the dreaded like the row jump and exit in our row because there was like less people, and there wasn't even less people. It's like there was only 2 people in front of them, the aforementioned 2 older people who got bounced. And then it was just me and you in our row. And like, maybe they didn't want to make the older people stand up, but it's like,
right,
dude, it's just like, that's just one of the, that's up there in my biggest pet peeves, if not the biggest one.
Oh, yes.
So that happened on 2 separate occasions. And then there was eventually there was a party of like people to our right, like probably like 6 people, 8 people, like just couples or whatever. And like, a couple got up during the game, during like, I think like the first inning. They also, these people, all of them, all the different people we just talked about, they all kept getting up at like the first batter of the inning. Like they wouldn't get up during the inning break. They would get up like during the leadoff man of each inning. And it was like, why are you just now getting up? It was super crazy. But these people to our right got up, and then they pulled the annoying thing of like they left as a couple, and then they came back separately, and it's just like, okay, great. So now we have to get up twice for each one of you to come back separately. And these people, the guy at least got up 3 times.
He did,
I was just waiting for the 4th time.
Oh yeah. So if somebody gets up 3 times, really you have to get up 6 times to let them back in their seat, because it's a 2-way trip. Man, that guy was annoying too, because finally by the 3rd time, I think he thanked us for getting up. But hey, man, if I'm getting up 3 times at a sports game, by that 3rd time, I'm apologizing profusely to the people in the section, because I know I've become a burden. Actually, if I'm getting up 3 times, I'm probably not going to return to the seat that I'd been to, because it's like, I can't, I don't have my face anymore at this point. I gotta leave. So, but I guess some people don't, it's not that deep for some people. So that was it was a bad section. But one good thing about sitting in the aisle was we had an easy out when we wanted to move down for the graphs. And so, Jeremy, for some reason, you seem to have it sort of a gut instinct that we were going to have trouble being the first people out there, and that we were not going to get the catbird seat for the Wrigley. And sure enough, we didn't. So we got out there, and Dennis was already out there. This other older grapher who we've seen many times, was out there next to Dennis.
Can we call that guy Picture Book?
Yeah, sure.
Is a great song by the Kinks, Picture Book. But he has a little photo album that he keeps his cards in.
Yes.
And so that just popped to me. It's a good song, Picture Book. It was in a commercial a couple years ago. But good Kinks song.
And he does have that. I mean, we used to call me Binder. That used to be my graphing street name. But I don't know if anybody called me that. But I always figured it would be a good graphing street name for me.
It was
but
yeah, it was the name of your solo podcast.
It was. Yeah. Maybe we'll do another one of those sometime. But Anyway, so it was those two out there. It was Dennis and Picture Book, and then it was also there was like a kid and like a parent next to them. And then Dennis looks back at us and he's like, yeah, 30 seconds ago there was nobody out here. And so, we were rub it in, Dennis, but we were late and we didn't have a great position. And also to the left of Picture Book, truly next to the gate, was this older lady and this guy who was with her. So we were completely blocked out of the front already. And the game ended because we left as the last batter was playing out for the Cubs. They would go on to lose. We got out there 15 seconds after the game ended, and we were still screwed.
Yeah, for sure. The people next to us, it was an older couple and a man and a woman, and the guy was not standing on the barricade, but he was blocking the barricade. And yep. I'm like, "Are you guys here for autographs?" And the woman's like, "Oh yeah, that's what we're here for." And I'm like, "Okay, great." But the guy didn't move. Eventually, he kind of fell back, and I kind of glommed into that space. But yeah,
yep.
It was tight. Recently adorned, security guard on the podcast, Dynamite was there. Yep. As he will always. I think he's going to be a permanent fixture now. We were saying. This is the exception that, or the instance that proved the rule. He was he was facing us and we were facing the bus, and he's looking behind us and he goes "Oh man, Dynamite Astros suit." And I turn around and there's some guy wearing an orange and red striped suit, just like the old sunburst logo jerseys of the Astros in the 70s and 80s. He had a whole suit kind of with those lines, and I'm like, "Oh yeah, pretty nice." He's like, "Oh yeah, man, you gotta admit that's a Dynamite suit." I'm like, yeah, man, it is. And there you go. So that's just cementing his choice of nickname there.
Yeah, absolutely. And so after that, so which starting pitcher was this, Jeremy? It was the guy who started the next game. Remind me his name for the Astros.
Was it I think it was Kai Tang.
Yes. So anyway, somebody, yes, there was a grapher there who was specifically there for Kai Tang. And we had seen him pregame as well. So this guy really wanted him. He had a big picture, right?
Yeah, he was Taiwanese, and so was Kai Tang, and he had a big glossy cutout picture of Kai Tang. I don't even know where he got this or how it was made. It felt like it was expensive to be made. It was on glossy photo paper, but it was almost, it was basically life size. And yeah, he had it there and he was all excited. I think he might have been wearing a Team Taiwan, jersey and stuff. And Dynamite just looks at him and he goes "Oh yeah, man, he left." He's like, "He's starting tomorrow?" "Oh yeah, he's tomorrow's starter." "Oh, and then he left already." And then the guy goes "Oh," he's like, "Oh, well, okay, well, I'm coming tomorrow anyway. It's okay." And then he goes "Yeah. Next day starter always leaves during the game. Always leaves second inning. Always." And he's like, "Yeah, they go in, they do their work, get some food, and then they leave. Always." And we're just we were that's not true, to ourselves. No. We didn't say it out loud, but yeah. And then you even pressed him a little bit on it, right, Jack?
Yeah, well, I was I said, yeah, even during a day game they do that, when it's a day game following a day game. And he's like, yep, always. Yeah, they come in here, they do their work, and then they leave in an Uber. And yeah, we were just kind of puzzled because there was no logic to that either. So yeah, sometimes if a team has a night getaway game, they will, and a game the next day, they will fly the next day's starter commercial to the next city, right? So there is, sometimes teams will do that, or I think sometimes if teams have a night game followed and then a day game the following day, they will send that next day's starting pitcher home, so they don't get home late and they can get a good night's sleep before the day game. Sometimes
it also feels like that's. Even when that does happen, it also feels like that's a more later in the season type of thing too.
Yes. Yes, because it's
yeah.
been rare. It's been rare that we haven't seen a starting pitcher who's pitching the next day at the game.
Yeah, sometimes they're the first one out, but like,
Yep.
Yeah. So, spoiler alert. I think Kaiwei Tan. I think he was the first one out.
Yes.
But he came out. And I think I don't even know what Dynamite said. He's like, oh, that's strange or something like that. Not like, oh, I was just making all that up. Like I actually don't know what I'm talking about. But it's like, weird. Okay.
Yeah. No, he just totally had to eat shit on that one. And it's just another example of bad information that's thrown around and graphing. Like if you believed everything you heard from everybody who said it, you would never get any autographs.
No.
So it's kind of a good thing that we've got experience and know that this stuff isn't true. But I felt bad for the guy who was getting that information, and I'm glad he stuck it out too, because he was there when Kaiwei Ten came out, and he, spoiler again, he didn't sign. But it was just weird, and I will give Dynamite credit, like he does know the game, he knows all the players, but he was just wrong on that one.
Yeah, absolutely. So, it was it was weird, but yeah. So one guy who did come out, like one guy who actually signed, because after the game at the bus, not much better. Mike Burrows did come out, and okay. So we should say, we didn't really say this, but the Astros did the same thing as the Brewers did in the last episode, if you recall, where they had the two buses in a row. And didn't just had the barricade, just kind of trying to barricade like two bus lengths. The workers were annoyed about it too. And Dynamite was saying, he's like, they're gonna be out of here early today, which they really weren't. But
no,
but like there was two buses essentially, was basically the bottom line. And so a lot of players were going to the back bus, which pretty much completely puts them out of play for us as graphers.
Yep.
So we saw Mike Burrows, and I gave him a good yell, and he did, to his credit, he did like a 180, and turned around, like did an about face and came over and signed for everybody. So that was one nice bright spot.
Yeah, that was good. I had a nice heritage card from the Pirates that I was able to get him on, so that was really cool. He was the only guy I got, because I didn't have cards for, I think it was Zach Cole, who signed as well.
Zach Cole,
but
the other guy, yeah.
Yeah, it was slim pickings out there for sure. But yeah, Dennis was out there, and he continued to be out there. And so at one point he was like talking about all of the stuff he had, because Jeremy, he saw your team cards, your Astros team cards, and he's like, oh yeah, I throw all that shit away. I don't keep that. What am I gonna do with it? And then he says, yeah, my brother, he gave me a whole bunch of fucking cards from the 90s. I look through them and I just throw all the dead guys away. Because what am I supposed to do with it? I'm not going to get it signed. And so it was just a very insensitive thing to say. It's like, if they played in the 90s, first of all, they went too young. But also, we're talking about people here, regardless of when they died. It's like the person died. Maybe you could have a little more respect than that.
It's truly the bottom line with Dennis. It's like, if you are not autograph fodder for Dennis, you go in the garbage. That's just what it is. Like, that's just the bottom line with Dennis. It's like the most clear cut black and white. He's like, if you can't sign an autograph for me and I have a card of yours, I'm throwing you in the garbage because you're trash to me. So it was just like so blunt and so fatalistic for Dennis, but also not surprising whatsoever.
No.
No. Yeah, and
then we started getting into it more, and so Jeremy, I think you heard this better than me because my bad ear was on Dennis's side. This next quote, I heard him talking about it. I just didn't hear the exact quote, but he started talking about the '80s because he was talking about rent,
living around there. Yeah. He used to live around there.
So he was talking about how cheap rent used to be, and he was like, yeah, that was 40 years ago in the early '80s. And then he started talking about some of his other activities in the 80s.
Yeah, he goes, I don't know exactly. But he's like, it was different around here then. And he's like talking about, like, I paid, my first apartment was $125 or whatever. And then he goes, yeah. He's like, yeah, but that was a long time ago, And he's like, yeah, I used to do powder back then. Hey, you know what? Hey, it was the 80s, everyone was doing it or whatever. But he called, I guess, cocaine powder.
Yeah, which is funny. And then I think he said it again. He said it to Dynamite. He said, "I've been clean 33 years," and Dynamite was like, "Oh, congratulations!" And he's like, "Now I'm addicted to this shit," which is what he said to me before.
Yeah, and to me, maybe we were both there, but yeah.
Yeah, you were there too. So I mean, it's yeah, that's right. Yeah, you were. So yeah, it's just he's loud and proud of this being his addiction. And it certainly is for him.
Yeah. So speaking of that, he did have my number one target for this series was Nate Pearson because he was part of that no hitter that Imanaga and the Cubs threw a couple years ago, I've since gotten Imanaga and Porter Hodge on. They made a Tops Now card of it, and it's like a trio card, and I got those two on there, and I just need Pearson. And Pearson was the first guy I had a crack at once that card came out, and I didn't get him, and then I just didn't get him the rest of that year. And then the Cubs, ended up cutting him or trading him or whatever, and he miraculously ended up on another team with the Astros, and he miraculously. Well, he started off on the IL, but he got better for this series, which I'm like, was he still going to be hurt when the series happens? And like, no, magically he was healthy for the series, and he was activated for the series. And I'm like, oh my God, this is it. This is my chance. And of course, Dennis needed him on a jersey that he got at the Cubs convention. But like, and so like, yeah, so he tried to call for him, and he said like, oh yeah, Pearson said he'd sign it like after the game. And so Pearson comes out and he's holding the jersey up and he's like, "Hey, Pearson, can you sign?" And he's like, and then Pearson starts getting on the bus and he's like, "You said you'd sign." And Pearson goes like, "Hey, the bus is leaving," and he just got on the bus. Yep. And yeah, it sucked. This is a situation, I guess, for Don Mattingly too. I was actually prepared to do the hotel because I just like I really need Pearson. I really wanted Mattingly, but I need Pearson on this no-hitter card, and I'm like, This is not a guy who's going to come back and do a signing or anything here. No. So, and he's not going to come to Cubs convention. So, like, I don't know when I'm going to be able to get this guy. And, yeah, it's just like nothing happened there. And nope. I will say I was committed to going the rest of the weekend to try to get him, and he snubbed the other two times too. So does not seem like a nice guy or a good guy, and it was just pretty annoying. So
yeah, that's rough, man. And yeah, you got Zach Cole, but that was it. Nobody else signed. You called for Omar Lopez that date on Friday, and he didn't sign. You said you called. Omar Lopez is their bench coach. Yeah, he didn't sign the other days. It was a bummer. It was a bummer of a day for graphing. And it was freaking cold too. So after this, I just bailed. I know you went to the Cubs bus, and I'm sure Dennis did too, because I saw him heading in that direction. But I was cold and I wanted to leave. Did anything happen after that?
So we parted ways, and I'm trying to think of what Dennis said. I don't know if we like left it on a joke or something, but we parted ways, and Dennis was going the same direction I was. So I was walking behind Dennis, but Dennis was like, he was in his like his grapher sprint or whatever, just like kind of like doing his like steps down Waveland Avenue, and I was about like, I don't know, a house length behind him, and we're walking up the block, and Carson Kelly walks by with his wife and his baby and like the stroller and stuff, and I've seen him do that before. Like that's his route. He must have an apartment over there, and so Dennis walks by Carson Kelly, and like, man, I thought he was gonna ask him, but he kind of they just parted ways, and I didn't know if maybe Dennis didn't recognize him, and then he walked by me, and I just like gave him like a thumbs up, and he like gave me like a big nod, nice. Which is cool. Yeah, that was cool. And then like I kind of ran up to Dennis, and I'm like, what? You don't want Carson Kelly? And he goes like, I'm not gonna ask him. Yeah, I'm not gonna ask him there. And I'm like, oh, okay, well, this is Dennis's boundaries, I guess. This is where he's like, oh no, that's offline when you were with your baby. But I think it was just because he knew that he would get denied. So, so yeah, he did not sign. He did not ask Carson Kelly. But but yeah, that was it. Then I just told him. I think I said like, he's like, "Did you drive?" And I'm like, "Yeah." And he's like, "Where'd you park?" And I'm like, "Ashland." And he goes like, "Oh," and like he made a face, just like. I think he said like, I'm already at 11,000 steps or something. And, you know, he walked up that side street behind the Cubs. He probably went to the Cubs back of the bus or something, back of the lot or something. But yeah, he just like disappeared and we parted ways. So yeah, that was that basically. Like I said, I did go back, the rest of the series, and it was brutal. The rest of the series, I ended up doing okay on getaway day. I don't think I got anybody on day 2 when I went back for Pearson. I just have to say this for the record, for the podcast, for posterity. Cable Guy was there on Sunday on getaway day, and we missed these guys on Friday, but Steve Sparks is the radio guy and Jeff Blum is the TV guy. We didn't see them right on Friday?
No, they didn't.
Right?
They didn't come out at all. And Sparks was like the number one guy I was looking for. And yeah, they just didn't do the bus on Friday.
Yeah, and so they came out Saturday, and there was so many people there. They yelled for him they just yelled Astros, and everyone yelled back. And it was right when they came out, and I yelled at the top of my lungs for Sparks, and just I couldn't drown out this horde of people. So on Sunday they come out, and I called for him, and Steve Sparks comes over to me, and then Jeff Blum was right behind him, and Picture Book was there, and Picture Book called for Blum, and so Steve Sparks comes over, he signs for me. So yeah, sorry Jack that you didn't get him. He does. I will say he has a very nice signature. It's very like.
I've seen it. I'll get him next time.
Yeah, I'm sure he'll be in play at some point. So he signed for me, and then like I wanted Blum, but I'd paid for Blum like last year at a signing around here, and but Blum was signing for Picture Book, and so Sparks signs for me. I think I don't know if he signed for anybody else, but he went back to the bus. Then Blum signs for Picture Book. The timing was perfect for me, so I got Blum as well. Then he moves to my right, and Cable Guy puts out a friggin' Astros sticker card, and he signs that. And then he signs for someone else, and he's right in front of us now. He's right there signing for somebody else, and he hands the card back to Cable Guy. Cable Guy goes, "Thank you, Mr. Sparks," and I'm just like, "You fucking son of a bitch," and Blum doesn't react. He just moves on, signs the next autograph. And then like I hear someone behind me, this is just a fucking bad. This is just bad form. Like when the guy is still standing there signing, and someone goes like, "Who was that?" Or "Who is that?" It's like, wait till they walk away, man. What the fuck, dude? Just wait till they walk away. Like or just say like, "Who the hell are you? I don't recognize you." Just say that to them then, if that's the case. But someone asked Cable Guy who that was, and he goes like, "That was Steve Sparks," and I'm just like gritting my teeth, and then and he's still standing right in front of us, and he has a Jeff Blum, and he's standing in front of us. He has a backpack on with a tag on it that says Jeff Blum in big letters, and it's facing right at us, and he goes like, "Unless I'm mistaken," and then like Blum walks away, and then he goes like, "Excuse me, was that Steve Sparks?" And I pause because I'm trying to like gird my loins, and I go like, "The guy who was right there in front of us?" And he's like, "Yeah," and I'm like, "That was Jeff Blum," and he goes, "Oh, okay," and like he's like, "I got messed up there," and then he, and then that was it. I'm just like, Jesus Christ, fucking Cable Guy, just right in front of the guy's face, and like. Fucking Jeff Blum hit a fucking major home run in a World Series to help a team win a historic World Series, and he can't even fucking get, the credit from a guy like Cable Guy. He's calling him fucking Steve Sparks. So there you go. You can never be too high up on the hog to not be taken down by someone the likes of fucking Cable Guy.
Yeah. No, that's pathetic, Jeremy, especially because Jeff Blum and Steve Sparks don't look anything alike.
No, and then he has this autograph right in his hand. It's like, does that look like an SS or does it look like a GB, man? Like, what the fuck, dude?
No, it's terrible, Jeremy, and we figured out who Cable Guy is, through his social media presence and stuff, and Yep. Yeah, and it's just we actually have a lot in common with the guy, just in terms of like other interests that we have. And I feel like if this guy was just cool in any way, shape, or form, we would actually be friends with him. He probably like would have been on this podcast at some point if he was just like chill. If he met the big chill standards for like being chill, but he's just not, man. He just sucks. Like we have tried to give him the benefit of the doubt so many times, and he's just a turd.
Yeah, he's just a friggin' wet blanket, and like, man, it's just such a faux pas, and it's like, man, you do this to their face, man, to their face. It's just an insult, man, and I'm like I'm embarrassed and offended by them, and it's like I would tell Blum, I'd be like, Jeff, just walk away, man, just don't come back, like you're good, we don't deserve your autograph, we don't deserve your presence, just leave us now.
The one silver lining to all of this is that sometimes Cable Guy has said he's gotten guys, and you're like, how the hell did he get that guy on a day I wasn't there? But I think at this point we know not to trust him saying he got a guy, because he truly is not good with faces or names. So that autograph that he got that he thought was George Brett could have been anybody.
Yeah, right. It could have been friggin' let me pick a random Kansas City Royal. It could have been Andres Blanco, it's just it is what it is. So I gotta you gotta move on past that. But
thank you for it's good that we got that one down for posterity, like you said. Ultimately a bust as far as graphing, but it was good to get the Astros in there for the first time in almost a decade. That was good. And we actually do have another game planned to go to, so I feel like we're doing pretty good this year so far. But we just got to make sure to keep that going through the summer now that at least Cubs tickets are going to be getting a little more expensive.
And this next game, we're going to be, hopefully Friday special, as long as my travel plans work out. But man, they're not cheap, and they're just getting more expensive. Cubs are in a 10-game losing streak now, and the tickets haven't gone down at all. It's like, come on, people, like, vote with your wallet, like. To benefit us, like, it's ridiculous. Yes. So it's just going to be an expensive summer in Chicago.
Yeah, I think so. But I think all things considered, we will be going to that game. So we'll, like you said, if your travel plans work out, we'll have the recap. But for this week, I'm Jack Swakowski,
and I'm Jeremy Dionisio.
We'll see you next time.
Later.